Hello everyone, welcome to the Anime Recap Media YouTube channel. Please like the video, subscribe to help our channel and enjoy this full video.
Back at the village, the people celebrate now that they are no longer targets of the Empire, and Matama is praised for taking out the Empire, but Loki and Ataru are also there. Yukito wonders what Loki wants, but she says she just wants to enjoy a final night at the village with everyone. Loki decides to head off, not wanting the other Archons to get ahead of her, and she leaves Ataru behind, saying she can no longer use her powers without the Empire's machines. Yuki claims he will do everything to protect the village, and Loki says she will do whatever it takes to become a god. As she leaves, she is stopped by Bertrand, who sees her as a threat, but Loki uses her magic, turning Bertrand back into a man, and he is overjoyed to be back in his original form. However, Loki changes him back, mentioning how she still has powers, so he is no match for her. Bertrand wonders where she is headed, and she reveals she is going back to the capital, but Bertrand decides to follow her. Taru is left devastated, not knowing what to do with herself. She blames Yukito for destroying the Empire, but he explains he didn't have a choice. He decides to team up with her, telling her that if they defeat all the other Archons, she could absorb their powers and recreate the system in the assembly. Next day, Yukito announces that their religion will have 2 gods. Matama is shocked hearing this, and her 2,000 followers get divided, with each of them having 1,000. Matama is devastated, and Ataru uses her power, blowing up a nearby rock. Yukito thinks her fighting ability will come in handy, but Matama reminds her who's boss. Ataru uses her power to defeat the giant beasts, and the group shows off their meat and alcohol to attract people from other villages. They even bring them back to the village, showing off their technological advancements, and Yukito offers to share everything with them, as long as their village accepts Matama as their god. Sil brings up some information she found about a woman named Dikini, who is claiming to be god in another village, and she already has 10,000 followers. Yukito thinks it must be an Archon, asking Ataru about her, but she says she only really had contact with Loki, although she knows that Dikini's power is related to love. Matama wants to crush her, but Yukito has another idea, saying the best way to take over a religion is to hijack it from the inside. They go over to Dikini's area, and Yukito thinks it looks like a love hotel. They ask to join the religion, and a girl named Rish appears, introducing herself as one of the branch leaders. They reach Dikini's chamber, but Rish tells them they can only meet her as a male and female pair. Matama worries if Yuki will be okay without her, but he says it should be fine. Al thinks their infiltration is going well, but Yukito tells her not to let her guard down. Dakini suddenly appears, mentioning how she has been busy getting so many followers recently. Yuki requests to join, and Dakini easily agrees, mentioning that they just need to do things the way they like and live according to their desires. She takes a picture of them both and just leaves the room. Yukito is suddenly overwhelmed by a strange feeling, and it seems Al has also been affected. Yukito wonders how they were affected by Dakini's powers, and he is overwhelmed looking at Al, but he manages to snap out of it, and there is suddenly an explosion, as Roy comes smashing through the wall, and Matama reveals he tried to make a move on her. Roy runs off after being rejected, and Yukito wonders what they are going to do about the hole in the room. Meanwhile, Dakini tells Rish that the secret joining ritual is complete. Rish prepares to handle the rest, but Dakini warns her that she set their love to berserk mode. As Rish goes to check up on them, she sees Matama as she is repairing the wall with her powers, but Yukito grabs onto her, warning her not to tell anyone about what she saw. She starts crying and reveals she has never actually been with the man. Yukito thinks it's strange considering her position in the group, and Rish wonders why Dakini's power didn't work on them. Yukito explains he has resistance thanks to training from his father, and Matama was unaffected since she is a god. Hearing that she is a god, Rish begs for their help, actually wanting to destroy the group. Meanwhile, Roy causes a scene running around, but he runs into Dakini, who finds him interesting. Rish explains how her village was taken over by Dakini's sect, and she was unwillingly forced to become a follower. Before she joined, she used to read the forbidden books about lovemaking, so she started making crazy stuff up, and the other followers became convinced she was experienced, even making her one of the branch leaders. She tells them she'd just like to read about it but can't stand it in real life, so she wants to get free by destroying this act. Yukito isn't sure he can trust her but thinks she could be useful, so he agrees to help her. Matama suddenly starts to panic as she sees her follower count dropping. We see the villagers as they try to restrain one of the giant beasts. The beast breaks free, but Sil says they bought enough time, and Ataru uses her powers to blast it and take it out. The villagers praise her, and she feels like her power is getting stronger. Meanwhile, Rish explains how Dakini rotates between each branch of every few days, so it will be a few weeks before she comes back around to their branch. Meanwhile, in another branch, Dakini spreads her message, gaining even more followers, but she notes that her power doesn't seem to be increasing. She overhears some followers talking about the new items they've obtained to help the love sessions, revealing Rish has been handing them out in her study group. We see Rish as she explains the science behind the human body, telling the followers how to achieve more intense pleasure, even attracting followers from other branches, and she starts to be praised by them. Yukito knows instead of Dakini, who is not always there, the people will tend to follow whoever is around, and thanks to the items summoned by Matama and his knowledge from the modern world, Rish is able to grow our own faction. Dakini suddenly returns to their branch early, and she confronts Rish about stealing her followers, but Rish claims she was just helping them to better understand her teachings. The followers defend Rish, saying she has done nothing wrong, but Dakini realizes why her powers haven't been growing. She summons her guards to surround them, realizing Yukito is the one who has been influencing Rish. Roy has become lover guard, and he suddenly punches Yukito, revealing that he was converted by Dakini. Dakini holds a trial where she has the four of them restrained. She interrogates Rish about her special study group. Rish suddenly cries as she apologizes for her actions, saying she thought she was being helpful, and she begs to be punished. The other followers are moved by her devotion, and they think she has done nothing wrong, begging Dakini to show mercy, but this was all a part of Yukito's plan. In a flashback, we see that Yukito predicted how Dakini would react, so he coached Rish on how to act, even giving her a script of what to say. Rish continues her performance as she asks for mercy for the followers of her group and thanks Dakini for taking her in. Everyone has moved to tears, and Dakini is put in a tough position, so she has no choice and is forced to call off the trial. Dakini thinks about losing Rish but decides she doesn't need her as she summons her guards. We are now brought into Dakini's memory. She was created by the early royal family and born with the ability to awaken love. She thought the king was going to use her abilities to increase the population by growing people's desires. However, the king told her that she was not to awaken love, but to restrict human love. The royal family does not rely on pregnancy to have children because they can breed humans artificially. Only when all humans no longer give birth to babies on their own can the royal family control population growth artificially, thus controlling the world. Since then, Dakini had been photographing humans every day with her cell phone. Like Tool, as long as humans were photographed, they would completely lose their desire for love, as well as the ability to have intimate interactions. Thousands of years have passed, and humans have mutated to be a species without love or the ability to give birth. If this continued, Dakini would lose her significance of existence, so she compiled her knowledge about intimate interaction into books, hoping to awaken love hidden in humans' heart. However, humans who had lost the ability to have intimate interaction couldn't understand her books at all, and these books got banned later. Many more years passed, and Dakini found a girl named Toka who liked these forbidden books very much. It turned out that Toka was a very rare person in this world who could fall in love since birth. Dakini also liked Toka very much. The girl lived freely with love, unlike the humans who had lost their vitality and lived like robots. Toka was longing for giving birth to a child, and Dakini believed that it was what humans should be like. Dakini had always been with her growing up. However, the inhabitants of the city hated the girl so much that Toka was eventually banished to an isolated village as an outlier. Years later, by the time Dakini heard from Toka again, she had been killed by the villagers. Dakini was very desperate and vowed to restore the world to its original state. She wants to create a world where humans can fall in love, start a family, and have children. As the memory ends, we are back to the prison where Yukito is kept. As the subordinates sent by Dakini are about to fight against Yukito, Ader along with Solurl appears and rescues them. At this moment, the number of Ader's followers has increased to more than 6,000. All of this is Yukito's plan. He deliberately took Matama away from the village so that the villagers could be attracted to Ader, who is much stronger in the fight. Therefore, Ader will have more followers and gain more power from them. Then it's time for the final attack on Dakini. They soon find where she is and launch an attack. At this moment, Dakini finds Rish holding a book in her hand which used to be Toka's. Just as she is about to ask Rish where the book comes from, she is interrupted by Ader's attack. When Ader and Dakini are fighting, Rish performs other tasks with Matama, but she is puzzled why Dakini said her mother's name just now. At this moment, the battle between Ader and Dakini has entered a climax, but everyone underestimates Dakini's strength. She has already absorbed more than 14,000 followers during the battle, and knocks down Ader easily after transformation. Later, Dakini infects them with uncontrollable lust. As the three girls approach and hug Yukito tightly, the ground suddenly cracks, and the tentacles of many plants stretch out to separate them. The next moment, Matama and Rish show up. Just now, Rish told the believers in the organization that Matama is the real god with advanced knowledge of intimate interactions, and she will not only teach everyone new knowledge, but also give believers more tools. With her prestige in the organization, Rish formed a new faction, which caused many followers of Dakini to turn to Matama. Thus, Matama once again gained powerful divine power. Dakini thought that losing some followers would not affect her combat power, only to find her abilities actually disappearing. It turns out that Matama remembered that among the gods she knew there was also a god named Dakini. She deduced that this Dakini was just the archon of this world, who could only borrow her power from the real god, so she traveled to the world of the real god Dakini and begged her to reclaim the power of the archon. The real god also felt that the recent behavior of archon Dakini in making the believers go on an intimacy spree was a bit excessive, so she promised Matama to temporarily withdraw archon Dakini's divine powers. Dakini finally realizes that something is wrong and tries to escape but is stopped by Roy at the door. Not long ago in prison, Yukito handed Roy a note saying that as long as he helped the woman when she was in danger, he would win her heart. Roy has always liked Matama, so he believes that if he helps Matama stop Dakini, he will reap Matama's favor. While Roy stops Dakini, Ader attacks and completely defeats Dakini. Though defeated, Dakini still doesn't understand why would she with such strong power fail in the end. Yukito tells her that it is because she is always alone while he has so many partners around. Then Rish finally comes up and asks Dakini how she knew Toka's name, and Toka was her mother. Hearing this, Dakini is caught up in memories that Toka once told her that she wanted to find a man she loved, have a child of her own with him, and let the child become Dakini's best friend. Rish is the child of Toka, and the man she loved. At this moment, Dakini awakens and starts her confession. She should not have made humans obsessed with physical pleasure and lose their thinking about love. She shouldn't have abused her abilities to get people caught up in the lust for intimacy, and it's not the world she wants.
How was the video? We hope it was good. If so, please check these videos. Also, please comment down your thoughts and your suggestions for future videos. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing now to show the support to our channel. We hope to see you soon with another video right in this channel. Have a nice day.